Welcome back, valued patrons. We love you so much. Thank you for coming to listen to Drinks with Tegis. Today I'm here with Brandon Knight, and we're going to talk about whiskey. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've got myself a little glass of whiskey here to get us started, and the bottle's down here in case I need more. So we'll see.
Yeah. But so what are you drinking?
Well, this is going to show the fact that, sometimes when it comes to this conversation of like whiskey, people are like, think that it's some highbrow, super expensive aficionado hobby, which it can be. But I stumbled upon this at the store. It's Twisted Tea. They make like those hard tea drinks. It is sweet tea whiskey. So it's whiskey infused with sweet tea for all you Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey lovers. It's pretty similar to that.
That's crazy. I didn't know Twisted Tea had devolved even further. That's amazing. I did not know that existed.
I just found it last week. So it might be a new thing. They might not have it down south. That's a lie. It actually makes a lot of sense that they would have it down south.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I don't spend a whole lot of time in liquor stores.
Okay.
But the regular Twisted Tea is everywhere down here.
It is. It is.
So, how much do you know about the history of whiskey?
I've looked it up here and there before. I'm not like super familiar with the history. I know why there's a different terminologies. Like there's whiskey with an E, whiskey without an E. Bourbon is a certain specific type of whiskey. Scotch is specifically comes from Scotland. Like there are very specific rules that qualifies each different type, but I'm not as super familiar with the history. Do you have a little lesson for us today?
Yeah, so whiskey is one of those things one of those alcohols that has like a huge, super long history.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably devote an entire episode just to the history of whiskey, the different types of whiskey.
Sure.
Japanese whiskey, which I like.
Ooh.
It's pretty good.
I don't know if I've ever had Japanese whiskey. It's on my list of things to try, though.
Yeah, it's really it's Irish whiskey, but made in Japan.
Okay.
More or less.
That like rye style. Okay.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. I like it. I think that's actually the last whiskey I had was Fuq. F-U-Q.
Okay.
From
F-U-Q.
the Fukaku
Okay.
district. But
Nice.
as far as written history goes, the first record of whiskey is in the Irish annals of Clonmacnoise, which I'm sure that's not how you say it. Gaelic is one of those languages that I could not begin to pronounce correctly.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what they were doing over there. That's not how words work. Letters don't make those sounds.
That's true.
No offense to any of our Gaelic listeners, but that's ridiculous. So, that was in the very early 1400s.
Okay.
And that's just the first written account. It had been distilled before this. A lot of people believe that it came to Ireland and Scotland with Christian missionaries because they had already been distilling wine. They knew how to make wine, like other hard liquors. But there were no grapes in Ireland or Scotland. So they turned to distilling mash. And that's how whiskey came about.
Interesting.
Ireland and Scotland hate each other, so they had to change it. In Scotland,
of course,
it had to be different.
Of course,
and that's kind of how we got the split between whiskey and whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with this. Dr. Pepper is trying to fight me.
How dare you, Dr. Pepper? You are a gentleman.
But King Henry VIII dissolved the monasteries in England, which at the time included Scotland and Ireland. That was in the 1500s.
Okay.
And so the monks who were distilling the liquor, they had to get out. They had to make new ways to make a living, and they
Hmm.
turned just to distilling, which is kind of funny, living in the
I was
South,
thinking that too.
because like
Go ahead.
liquor bad in the South
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
United States, at least if you ask most of the churches. But
Yeah.
that's
I
kind of
mean,
how it goes.
I have a pretty high concentration of Baptist churches by me. So still that kind of that like liquor is bad, even though like monasteries for years were making beer, fermenting wine, distilling whiskey. Like we were the brew house back in the day.
Yeah, that's just kind of what we did for everyone who wasn't just coming to church.
Hmm.
But the oldest currently active whiskey distillery that is licensed is the Old Bushmills Distillery. It was founded in
Oh,
1608.
okay. Okay.
So
1608. So over 400 years then.
yeah, it's like it's a very dense history between then and now to go
Okay.
through.
I'm
So
sure.
we're not gonna, but you kind of get there. Uh,
Hmm.
Distillers would use whiskey as currency, like a lot of honestly still these days companies will do. Uh,
Mm.
when cash isn't an option for one reason or the other, like with the Pepsi Navy.
Mm.
Uh, Russia couldn't give Pepsi money, so and we couldn't give Russia product, so they gave warships to Sweden. We gave Pepsi to Sweden. Sweden gave us the warships, or Pepsi the warships, and it was
Pepsi owned warships briefly.
yeah, Pepsi had the sixth largest navy in the world.
That's great. There is a distillery out here by me, about 30 to 45 minutes away, that to get a tour, either you pay $10 to get in or you buy a $30 bottle of their whiskey. So,
Yeah,
like, even still, like, you could either pay a cheaper price to go on the tour or just buy the liquor.
yep. That's it works. It's always
It
worked.
does.
Uh, in America, the distillers used whiskey as currency during the Revolutionary War.
Mm.
Because wartime liquor becomes quite valuable, it turns out. But the first commercial distillery we had in the States was actually founded in Louisville, Kentucky,
Of course it was.
which, of course, it was, by Evan Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever had Evan Williams whiskey.
I don't think I have. I've seen it before. I actually keep track of the whiskeys I've had and I rank them.
Oh,
So if you want to talk a little bit about that, we can. But no, I have not had Evans William.
yeah. No, that's perfect, actually, because I was going to stop talking about this pretty much now
Okay.
uh, because after this. So, yeah, in the late 1700s, this is crazy. Uh,
Okay.
Grain farmers and the U.S. government were not getting along.
Okay.
So the in Pennsylvania mainly, uh, they kind of wouldn't let like army officers collect the tax on their grains on the distilling or
Okay.
the farming. It's the Whiskey Rebellion.
Oh, I've heard
Uh,
of this. Yeah.
yeah, they you know the distillers attacked a tax inspector with like 600 armed men. They ran this like went to this dude's
Goodness.
house and attacked him. And the president at the time, which was President Washington,
Hmm.
sent 13,000 men uh, to march west, from
Mm.
DC and meet any resistance with force. And before they even got there, the rebels were like, "Yep, not dealing with it." All the protests stopped, and the rebellion just kind of ended there.
Mhm.
Yeah, they kept rebelling against the whiskey tax because they don't want to pay taxes on the goods that they're producing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the physical rebellion stopped. Was, an overwhelming show of force, which works for some countries apparently.
It does. It does.
But there's a lot more to get into there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I skipped a bunch of stuff already, and I'm skipping the previous 200 years.
Mm.
So, Brandon, what is your favorite kind of whiskey? Why don't you
So
just walk us through the list? Actually,
just walk you through the list.
just
I
walk
can
us
do
through
a
the
high,
list.
I can walk us through a high view of the list. Yeah. So my favorite is actually Jameson, which I know is kind of like probably to some people a very basic answer. Um, I think it has really good flavor. It's got a good burn to it, but it doesn't linger. Those are like my two criteria when I'm trying out a new whiskey, is that I want it to have a taste to it, that like woody taste that you look for. And I want it to have a little bit of a burn, but I don't want it to linger. That's why all the way down at the bottom of the list is proper number 12. Sorry, Conor McGregor. Proper number 12 and also Jim Beam. Proper number 12 doesn't taste like anything. It is just strong water, basically. It had no flavor to it once whatsoever. And Jim Beam is just burning in the chest for far too long. I'm more of a Jack Daniels guy. They're a little bit higher up here on, they're not at the very bottom of the list. Jim Beam is at the very bottom of the list. So, but yeah, back in 2020, which I know when you're talking about alcohol and 2020, this sounds like the setup for a sad story, but it's not. One of those like random activities that happened because we were all bored during lockdown during the initial 2 months of the pandemic. Jameson's distillery did a virtual tour on YouTube, and they showed you like how they distill, how they make the barrels. They had like a cocktail thing they showed you to make. There was some music fit in between the different segments. So I bought a bottle, tried it, really enjoyed it, and then since then, like I said, I've been keeping track of the different ones that I've like. Maker's Mark is like my number two. That one's a bourbon. And the thing about bourbons is I like it when they're a little bit sweet, which Maker's Mark does have a little bit of a sweetness to it. Fistful of Bourbon also has a little bit of a sweetness to it. I try, what was the one? Journeyman, which is a distillery out of Michigan, Lost Feather. Oh, that's a rye. Never mind. St. Elmo Cherry Vanilla Bourbon. I tried that one time. Not my favorite. It was very syrupy.
Yeah,
Um, Very syrupy, mixed well. You know, if I put it like in a Coke, I had like a really strong cherry vanilla Coke then. So that worked well. But just drinking it neat, yeah, that wasn't that great of a call.
yeah. I feel that way with like most like flavored liquors. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're drinking it cold, it's just syrupy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel good in your mouth.
Right. Another one flavored Starlight Blackberry. I think Starlight's out of Michigan. Blackberry, it was very syrupy, but it was different. You know, you don't usually find blackberry flavored things. Cherry, vanilla, honey, whatever Fireball is.
Cinnamon,
Cinnamon,
allegedly.
allegedly. Those are more common, but to find blackberry, it was very syrupy, but that was a pretty good, just straight or mixed in with a Coke.
Yeah, blackberry is very underrated flavor.
It is.
The closest
It
most
is.
companies get is like blueberry, and that's if they're feeling risky.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially like this time of the year. I was just out with my wife to dinner last night and I didn't try. I almost got the place where we were at. They had a blueberry shandy. So it's the lemonade beer with the blueberry flavor to it, which sounded good. But yeah, you're right. That's about as ballsy as people like to get, is trying to add blueberry to things. Do you like Fireball?
No,
No.
no,
I don't
no.
know. I don't know how people drink Fireball. I mean, I do know how people drink Fireball because it's cheap.
Yeah,
That's how people.
copiously.
Yeah. I do like it with eggnog. Do you like
I've
eggnog?
heard that. I like eggnog. Yeah.
Yeah. Because eggnog already has a little bit of like a cinnamon, depending on the kind you get, taste to it. So you add in the Fireball, it enhances it well.
Yeah,
But
I've
yeah.
heard that. Uh, the only person I know personally who likes Fireball is
Hmm.
my dad, which is insane to
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I thought Fireball was supposed to be like a young person's drink. Like when
Yeah,
you're underage drinking and just trying to get whatever you can, like
yeah,
Fireball is
that's
usually
like
easy to get.
yeah, that's my general consensus. It's like no one really drinks Fireball by itself past the age of 20.
Yeah. And if you are, you might want to go to an AA or Celebrate Recovery meeting just
Yeah,
in case,
yeah, he liked
because
it though.
that's cool. That's different.
Yeah, it was different to me. Yeah, insane.
Insane. The best scotch I've ever had, and this is one of the few near the top of my list that's actually like a more of a top shelf, is Johnny Walker Double Black Scotch.
Yeah,
You had that one before?
yeah, it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's got like an actual smoky taste to it, like it was just taken off of a wood fire grill or something. Yeah, I think it's more of like an $80 bottle. So not a usual one like this silly twisted tea. I think that was 16, which is usually more my price range. But
Right. Yeah, there's sometimes you just gotta get the nice thing, you know?
right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually the day I bought that Japanese whiskey, I was
Mhm.
going in to buy uh I can't remember the name of it, but there's a liquor store right by my apartment, and
Okay.
there's this bottle of like it's like $140. Just like
Mm.
looks amazing. I can't
Mhm.
remember any other details about it except that it's Irish.
Okay.
That was like 4 or 5 bottles over from the Japanese whiskey, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try that this time.
Yeah, every once in a while it's good to splurge. I want to get I can't remember what it's called. It starts with an L, and I think it's a Scotch. I'll put it this way: it's the whiskey that Ron Swanson drinks on Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
It is an actual distillery, out of Scotland, and I've heard it's really good. And it is one of those like $120 bottles. So
yeah,
not
that
a
was the Lagavulin.
yeah Lagavulin. Yeah, that I've wanted to try that one partially because of
Yeah,
Parks and
yeah,
Rec,
of course.
right? But
Plus,
apparently, it's
like,
also supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be a
yeah,
really good whiskey.
and it's like it makes sense if you're a fan of the show and like you find out about Lagavulin, and then
Hmm.
you think about how Ron just has way more money than he should. Like
Right?
he's just hiding his gold. This is the only thing he spends it on is the Lagavulin.
Yeah, that is his. That is his Starbucks Frappuccino. That is that one thing that he is willing to dump an unnecessary amount of money on for personal
Yeah,
enjoyment.
especially for how much he drinks.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
for that.
and
Of
it's
course,
like
I
it's
think by the
real
end of
too.
the show, by the end of the show, I think he becomes like a owner or something. So I'm sure that helps. But yeah.
Yeah, that's real. Like Nick Offerman also loves Lagavulin,
Oh,
so
really?
they're just which is a fun detail. But
Yeah, that is. I did not know that. My wife
yeah,
loves Parkers and Rec. How was that Japanese whiskey? I've never had a Japanese one before.
burn it
Burn.
burned it burned. It was better once we had it chilled,
Oh, okay.
but man, it was stout.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was good. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of grain alcohol-y,
Okay.
I felt like you could remove paint with it, but the taste
You ever
was
had
fine.
the taste was fine, but
Yeah,
you could melt bridges with it and
yeah,
remove. I'm trying to think if I've ever had anything. Like I said, Jim Beam was real just burn. I don't know how people enjoy that. the Indiana Whiskey Company here in South Bend, they have a chocolate one. I've had that one before. It was okay. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
they also have the other one I want to try is they have one. I think it's called Hillbilly Breakfast. It's maple flavored,
Mm,
and that sounds like it would be honey. When you want to get like a sweet whiskey, that's kind of a reoccurring theme is honey flavored, and so
yeah.
maple honey not too far off from each other. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. We get. I feel like Jim Beam Honey is the whiskey that makes it into this apartment the most often.
Really, okay,
Yeah. Because it's cheap, but it's honey, so it's not that bad.
right, yeah. Some of these things you'll always find all the different variations of Jim Beam, all the different variations of
Yeah.
Jack Daniels. They will always exist. Trying to see, is there any other like real deep cuts? I have tried. I got a very small bottle of Devore's Scotch before, which is supposed to be like a fancier Scotch, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I love when that happens. You try like the nicest version of something, and it's just not
Mm-hmm.
impressive.
It's just not my taste.
Yeah.
You can have a fancy hobby and still just be an average person about it, and there's no
Yeah.
shame in that.
There's a lot of cases like that. We do. I like to fly remote control planes. Little secret.
Fancy,
Yeah.
yeah.
And some people go spend a couple $1,000s on their plane. There's actually the biggest remote control air show in the world is in
Okay.
uh, Woodruff, South
Oh,
Carolina,
okay. Okay.
which is just not very far away at all.
Okay.
So
So you
we
see
go
like
down there
some
every
pretty
year.
fancy planes then.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We get to see some of the nicest planes in the world,
Nice.
and
I
some
feel that
people go
way
out there.
too.
They have like plane trailers, and they've got like 40
Goodness.
planes in there. Some people bring their remote control boats because there's a little lake on the property.
Well, that's cool.
It is cool. I like to see those guys. But that the air is mostly for like the seaplane models. There's a
Mm,
model for every single plane you can imagine. None of
okay.
mine cost more than like $140,
Mm,
and that's just one of them cost that much. The rest were all less than
okay.
50.
Okay. I
It,
kind of I feel the same way because at least back when I was on the show regularly, I was kind of known as like the Lord of the Rings guy, and those movies are long. And I don't like long movies. Like I'll sit through the Lord of the Rings. I love the movies, but like I'll take the movie Taken or Nacho Libre or any other like really dumb low intensity comedy any day of the week. I don't want to sit. I have watched Avengers Endgame like one time, and it's a good movie. Maybe twice. I think I've watched it twice, and it's a good movie. I don't really want to sit through it.
yeah,
There's just some movies it's just hard to sit through. And sometimes you buy a nicer bottle of scotch and it's like, nah, it's not really my
yeah.
thing.
There's a low point of entry for every hobby, and
There
like
is.
samurai films, they're great.
Mm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have a few Kurosawa films in the living room, and
Oh,
the
cool.
only one we've watched is Yojimbo because it's the shortest out of the ones that we have, and it
Oh,
is
yeah.
2 hours long.
Yeah, those are pretty long movies. I think Seven Samurai is almost 4 hours long.
Yeah, Seven Samurai and The Hidden Fortress are both about 3 hours and 45 minutes long. They're
Yeah.
great movies.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's a lot of time to devote, especially like if you're into, and we should probably get back to talking about whiskey here in a second,
Yeah,
but especially like, like my wife is really into sitcoms. That's a lot of episodes of a sitcom. Or like I like watching cartoons. I've been watching the new season of Animaniacs in my free time. And like 4 hours is basically a whole season,
yeah,
depending on the show, One
yeah,
movie or an entire season you pick.
yeah. We could watch The Hidden Fortress, or we could play Guilty Gear or Apex
There you go.
for 4 hours. And it usually loses. It's lost every single time.
That's awesome. Have you had any other like international whiskeys? I'm looking at my list, and outside of like the couple of scotches, and I have a couple ryes on here. I don't know if I've ever had any like truly international to
No,
try before.
I've had the Japanese whiskey, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, I've had Jameson, Jack, Jim,
Sure.
Wild Dogs.
Okay.
Not good. Uh, but
There's a
that's really it.
right up the road from me. There's a barbecue and whiskey bar. Um, Good food. I've had them at like festivals before, but I haven't been able to get in there to choose from their actual selection because they have like all around the world, Israel, Russia, like oh yeah, places that you don't normally think of. Usually you think of like Ireland, the south of America South, Scotland, stuff like that. But yeah, they have like very international. The one from Israel is the one I want to try. It's called Milk and Honey, so it's supposed to be like a sweeter mash.
Yeah, good Bible reference there.
It is good Old Testament reference. I'm trying to think. What else do we got here? Woodford Reserve bourbon. That was okay. That was another one. It's a little bit more top shelf. Like I said, when it comes to bourbons, I like something a little sweeter.
Yeah,
18th Street Distillery. That's another one here. Actually, it's in my hometown. Single malt whiskey. That was good. Had that at an MMA show recently. That was a good one.
yeah. What about Bullet? Have you ever had Bullet bourbon?
Bullet bourbon. No, I haven't had that one.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we had a bottle. I didn't get a
Okay.
chance to drink any.
It went that fast.
It went pretty fast. It lasted a few days,
Nice.
but allegedly, that's pretty good.
Allegedly. I'll keep that one
Allegedly,
in mind. What is your favorite? Do you do any mixed drinks with whiskey?
with whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a Kentucky Mule, which
Oh
is
yeah, we had that one
fairly.
during the. Was that the one we had during the convention?
It was, yeah,
That was tasty.
yeah. That's like that's probably my favorite mixed drink. Honestly, feels kind of like a
Mm.
cheap answer because it's barely a mixed drink. But if you put anything in ginger beer, it's gonna be good probably.
Oh yeah, we make Moscow mules pretty regularly. We
Yeah,
usually have the mugs and the ginger beer and things like that. I think that one's vodka. Yeah, it's vodka because it's
yeah.
Russia. Um, that's a good one. I like Irish coffees. We
Mm,
got like usually Jameson and Bailey's mixed
yeah.
together. That's a good one. That was actually my first drink. I had it at a Irish pub in Disney Springs. No,
Oh,
way to have your very first drink, but
oh, which pub? Is it the one that's
um
like right in front of the lake?
yeah, what's that
Lake?
place called?
Yeah, I
Raglan
love that
Road,
place.
I think is what it's called. Yeah, really good food. And usually they have like dance and some music playing, like traditional folk style music. A lot of
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, I had a Irish coffee there. That was really good. And a Jack and Coke. I do like Jack and Coke.
I do like Jack and Coke.
That's like my preferred drink when I get a steak. If I'm going
Yeah,
out for a steak, that's actually what I want is a Jack and Coke.
yeah. For me, I think Kentucky Mule is probably like the second or third most likely drink for me to make it home.
Okay.
I find like rum and Dr Pepper. I think rum and Dr Pepper go together super well.
Okay.
Most people never try it. It's delicious. It's better than rum and Coke, in my
I
opinion.
will I will try it for your sake because I do like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, no, it's super good. Uh, but when I'm going out, I'm almost always going to get a Kentucky Mule.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
if I'm not just getting a beer.
Right. That makes sense. I would love to. I usually just get a beer if I'm being honest. Yeah, but when you get like just a whiskey neat, it's not that much. Right.
Yeah,
So,
and you feel a
like
little
a
pretentious if you like no one else there enjoys it like that.
right.
It's like, yeah,
When
I'll
in
spend
doubt. Yeah.
$30 on my one cup of whiskey.
Mhm. and drink hard liquor with just no ice or maybe a little bit of ice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm a strictly like no ice. I
I,
just
I I've got some stones. I have those whiskey stones. It was a gift from my brother-in-law when he found out that I was a whiskey drinker. I do like using those, but no, I don't do ice or some of them. It is recommended. I think especially with scotch, it's recommended to cut it with water.
yeah.
Um,
So actually, Josh and I have a friend named Matt. Or if we don't want to say his name, Josh can remove that in editing. Um, but cool guy. The first time I
okay.
met him and got to like hang out with him, he actually just always has a flask with him with whatever
Mm,
scotch that he drinks or is drinking
okay.
currently. And he'll just take it. He'll ask wherever we are for a glass, like an empty glass, and
Hmm.
a cup of ice.
Okay.
And then he'll just take one ice cube and put it in the cup and pours scotch himself. He
That
got really angry at me when I was like, I don't like ice. I would rather not have the ice.
that seems like a lot of work too.
It is. And he does it
I
every
need
time.
two glasses, one empty, one with the ice. That seems like a lot of work. Just
Yeah.
drink it out of your, just cut it in your flask.
No, because then it's all cut the same way. You see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It has to be able to
I
control
see.
the water level.
Wow. Like we said, you can get very pretentious with this hobby. I want to be a flask guy. I want to be
Yeah.
that guy who carries a flask. Do you have one?
I have mine.
You have one?
Yeah.
I
I have
should
my,
get.
my
Is it a hurt?
Hurricanes flask.
Is it a
Yeah.
Hurricanes one? That's what I thought.
Yeah. Not
Nice.
allowed to take it in the arena, which is super funny because it's
That
metal.
is ironic.
But
Oh,
yeah.
that is ironic. Man, a flask, that's where you want a flask at a hockey game. You want something warm that you
Yeah.
can take a shot of every once in a while.
Yeah. Not in this one.
I
Gotta have the
Now that
plastic.
that's funny. I should find myself a flask. I want a cool one like that. Not the
Yeah.
Hurricanes per se. And not necessarily the Blackhawks either. I am a total bandwagon person when it comes to the Blackhawks. They were great in 2008 or whatever, and I have not cared since.
Yeah. 2015, 16, 13.
Yeah.
Right now is not a good time to be Blackhawks fan.
No, it's not. No, I know that much.
Or to be working for the Blackhawks. Or to be playing for the Blackhawks.
To be anywhere remotely near the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah. It's rough right now, especially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
What should I get?
Anyway.
I'm trying to think. What should my flask be? The comic book store I used to go to had like a Sin City flask with like the logo on it. That's probably like the manliest thing I've ever seen outside of like one with John Wayne on it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a point to be made. Like, do you want your flask to be comfortable to carry? Do you want it to be very visible? It should,
That's a good point.
should it represent something about you, or should you go classic stainless steel?
Mm.
Like, you want it to be curved or not?
I-
The curve makes it easier to hold.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a huge flask?
Where do people go to get flasks? Is that a liquor store thing? That's not a liquor store thing.
No, I have no idea where people go to get flasks. This was a gift.
Okay.
I assume this came from NHLshop.com.
That makes sense.
Amazon probably has flasks. What an age we live in.
Sure. That's true.
But I really
I wish I
don't
could
know.
say, huh?
I really just have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where you get these, and people have them.
Yeah, like I feel like I've never seen a flask in a shop.
Right. But your friend
But
with
like I
his
had
two
to.
glasses.
Yeah. Like, are there just like really high end liquor stores that I don't know about?
Right. Is
like
that where you
sell?
go to like a gentleman shop? Is it like in the back at a Joseph A. Bank that's like, here's our flask selection for your suit jacket?
Right? You go to like Men's Warehouse and you
Yeah.
go to the back and out in the left, and they just have like cigars and whiskey and flasks.
Well, now I want to go to a Men's Warehouse. I
knows?
didn't know they were fun.
No, that's not true. I don't think. Who knows? But like other than like commemorative, like hey, I
Mm-hmm.
went here and did this thing flasks,
Yeah,
never.
I've never seen one.
That's crazy. I've never thought about it even.
Yeah,
Hobby
you're
stores? Does it
you're
count as a
right.
hobby?
I'm sure. I think you're right. Like Amazon obviously is going to have like a bazillion ones. Maybe this is a deep cut. Maybe Etsy.
Definitely.
Especially if you want to get like a very like niche design on it. Like probably Etsy will have some.
Yeah. I feel like, oh, what might be a good bet is like an old school general store.
Mm,
Like I don't know
in
if
the
you have
middle of
mass
nowhere.
general store out there, but like for real
Some
this time.
places.
I don't know if you have
Like
the
for real
mass
this
general
time.
store, but they probably have flasks.
Yeah, that's probably true. I want mine to be curved as you're naming off all those things to think about. I do want it to be curved because it looks
Yeah.
cooler that way. And it's
Yeah.
probably easier to hold.
Yeah. And it's easier to like you put it in a jacket pocket and it conforms to the
Curves.
curvature of your body.
There you go.
And you put whatever you want in there.
Yeah. Grape soda,
Yeah.
grape scotch. I've been trying to find grape scotch just so that way I could do that line from How
That
I
sounds
Met Your Mother.
awful.
It does. It sounds like medicine.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not in like a good way, like the other things that people say taste like medicine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Not like
Like
cheer wine. Cheer
a
wine's
Dr.
actually pretty
Pepper.
good.
Yeah. Like that
But
actually has to taste like cough syrup.
yeah. Yeah, it does.
But you can also
Uh,
get super. Oh, you know what? I'm looking it up. I just found a
mhm.
really cool flask actually. It's
Okay.
called
What's on
Rag
it?
Proper. It's just a simple little. It doesn't look curved,
Okay.
but it's like matte black. Oh, it is curved. It's the
Okay.
perfect flask. It's only
Okay.
100 milliliters, so
Okay.
it's small,
It's a
but
small guy.
it has a glass. Um, there's a glass window. There's a window there, so you can see how much is in there.
Oh,
That's pretty
okay.
cool.
That would look pretty cool.
And you
Thank you
figured a
for
lot of people.
translating milliliters for us, by the way.
Oh, did you want to? That's 2 shots.
for, for those of us who are terrible at the metric system, thank you.
Yeah, that's 2 shots.
Gotcha. I mean, I wouldn't really want much more than that.
Yeah, you can get bigger ones, but
If I'm with
uh,
my family, maybe 3, but
right, of course, Christmas time. But I'm sure there's probably like a lot of debate in some obscure menswear gentleman's forum
mm,
about what your flask should look like and why you should have a flask.
I'm sure I will have to check the Art of Manliness. You ever
Yeah,
checked their stuff before? Yeah, that's
not
actually where I've
intentionally.
learned a lot about the history of whiskey because I wanted to know like what do all these words mean, and they actually had a article all about like, okay, this is what makes it a bourbon, this is what makes it a rye. I'll have to see if they have a thing on flasks. I would be surprised if they didn't.
I bet camping stores have flasks. Not like the classy
Oh,
kind, but I bet they have flasks.
yeah, you're right. Like a hunting, like a place where you get like hunting, fishing stuff that's not a Cabela's or
Oh
a
yeah,
Bass Pro. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
definitely.
They definitely do.
We figured
Because
it out.
I don't know where else you would go, you know? But
Target?
that's the right hot Target. No, I've been to Target plenty of times to know they're not there.
I have no clue. If you look it up, website results show up for Home Depot, so that's extremely interesting to me.
Home Depot.
Maybe I should go to Home Depot.
Hey, are you having a hard time with your DIY project? Step on over to our flask section.
Yeah, turn it into a DUI project.
DUI. That's the ticket.
Do it under the influence.
And then everything will turn out right.
Yeah,
Here at Systematic Ecology, we do not endorse drinking to excess.
truly,
Truly.
truly.
Please enjoy responsibly, like at every baseball game.
Yes, please drink responsibly. Um, but do you have is there like closing thoughts you'd like to have? Where does whiskey go as far as like hard liquors go for you?
That is my favorite. I would usually, I mean, it's not a hard liquor, but usually beer is my go-to if I'm getting an alcoholic drink while I'm out. But whiskey is my preferred hard drink, probably vodka right afterwards, but that's because we make Moscow mules. Yeah, it's like we've been talking about this whole time. It's one of those things that you totally can get like super niche and super bougie about, but also it's very entry level. There's very easy ways to get in. And as we've been talking, you can see that like there's a whole world out there of options to explore. So yeah, give it a try. You do need to know it's gonna burn a little. Like don't be afraid if you try it and you don't like it, because it is a hard liquor. It's probably better to mix with your Coke.
Yeah. What best starter whiskey for those who are uninitiated and of the age?
Uninitiated and of the age. I mean, I do feel obligated to say Fireball again. Like, just get it out of the way. It's kind of like certain beers. Just try it, get it out of the way. You may like it. My wife Claire, she does like Fireball. I don't think she drinks it straight, but that's like the one of the few that she'll actually like mix. Jack Daniels is probably the other one that I would recommend just as a good entry level. You know, Jack and Coke is a very popular mixed drink. If you literally go anywhere that has hard liquor and you say, I will take a Jack and Coke, they will know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if they have to use Pepsi, you'll get one.
Yeah. Jack and Cola, if you have to, like, you'll get something.
Yeah. Do y'all not call it like Jack and Pop up there?
No, no, we don't do Jack and Pop. If I'm not ordering a Coke, I think I say Cola.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What
is it down there?
Well, me personally, I call everything by name.
Okay.
Or in general, we call them soda.
Generally call them soda. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't say that because they might put like a club soda.
Yeah. If we're just
you
asking
don't want that.
If you want a dark soda, you say Coke. And then they'll say, well, we have Pepsi.
And then you say yes.
Okay. Yeah. I always ask for Dr. Pepper.
I gotta try some of these hard liquors with Dr. Pepper. That's not usually one I try. But I do like Dr. Pepper. Mixer. It is the ideal beverage to have with a Whopper at Burger King, I have found. That is like my favorite time to have a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. And like my Burger King, the one closest to me, has, I don't know what's wrong with their fountain. They need to get a service, but their Dr. Pepper is horrible. The soda, like the syrup to soda water ratio is awful.
Real bad.
Oh, yeah. I still
should get that. What else are you supposed to drink? Not water. Get that anywhere.
What, Vault. Be real. But closing remarks, is there anything else you'd like to say about the whiskey?
I enjoy whiskey. You can too. If you have to have it with ice, it's fine.
Yeah, it is fun. Thank you all so much for checking back in to Drinks with Tegis with Brandon Knight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Stick around. I'm not sure who's going to be on next, but soon I would like to talk about Vault all of a sudden, now that I've remembered that it exists. And who knows? Let us know what your favorite whiskey is. If you don't like whiskey, let us know what your favorite liquor is, or soft drink. If you drink it, I want to know about it. So, thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this show without you. And next time, we'll be doing this live on StreamYard. For us, it'll probably go up on like YouTube or Facebook or something. I don't know. But catch us next time. I can't wait.